In this video, we're going to look at how we visualize our data using graphs in Excel. So in the previous activities, we've obviously focused on entering the data and calculating some of the data around our income, our profits, using formulas and functions. So I guess what we've done there is the data acquisition, data organization process. The third and final step when we're working with data is data representation or data visualization, where we actually visualize or make the data a bit more of a diagram or a graphic. In Excel, this is easily done using graphs. So to do a graph is actually quite simple. If we're looking at, say, the expenses and we want to look at, where we're spending the most money in terms of expenses, what we want to do is we just highlight the data that we want to display. So from 500 down to 200, so cell B4 down to cell B9, and that's just a click and drag. So from B4, you click, and then drag down. Okay, and to add the graph, we just go to Insert. Then you'll see there's a section in the insert called Charts. And I guess if we're not sure about what type of graph we want, a good little tool that Excel has is recommended charts. All right, so it'll look at the data and have a quick go at, well, what's the best way to represent this? And the first one it's picked for us is a clustered column graph, which I guess is a fancy way of saying a vertical bar graph. And obviously this shows really well the comparison in numbers of the different categories that we're spending money on. So if we just click OK, all right, you'll see we get that graph drawn for us. And you can see there's some stuff here like changing the colors. So obviously if you don't like the blue, you can change it to an orange. So the different themes are just for different sections of data within the same, but because there's only one number, it's always going to be this first color. So maybe the monochromatic is the way to go if you want to, pick a specific color. I'm just going to go with the generic because color's not my biggest focus. All right, but as you can see, this chart, it shows us visually the numbers, but doesn't really tell us much more information. It says things like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What do these bars actually represent? All right, so there is a way we can add that information in. So to do that, we want to go to select data. So again, we're in the chart design tag tab, where you change colors and you can see different layouts if you want to be a bit funky. But the main thing we want to do is select data. So if we click on that, you'll see it comes up with the data source. So currently it just shows in sheet 1. This is sheet 1, by the way. And you can see it uses the absolute cell referencing. So B4 to B9 using the dollar signs to say this is exactly where the data is coming from. All right, so if we want to change these numbers, you can see listed here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have to edit this horizontal axis labels. So if we click edit, it'll ask us to pick the axis label range. And again, the easiest way is we've already got them written here. So let's just click and drag. All right, and you'll see it gives another sort of reference, again using absolute referencing. Click OK. You can already see it in the preview down here. So this is how you know if you've got it correct or not. But we click OK, and you can now see we've got venue hire is showing 500, catering showing 600. All right, so these are matching up to those values. I guess the last thing we want to do is add in a title. So chart title. If we double click on it, we get the flashing cursor where we can go and change this. So value of expenses. I don't know. Did I actually call it something in the? I should have looked in the actual Keylearn course. event expenses. I knew I had the title of something about expenses. I just couldn't remember what it was. Event expenses. There we go. That looks a lot better. All right, so now we've got ourselves a nice chart. Tells us that these are the event expenses. We've got the different categories of expenses and the bars representing the number amount of how much money we've spent. So probably the last thing we want to do is this chart we probably want to use as a picture in other documents or on our web pages if we're thinking about our assignments. So if we right click just anywhere in the chart, you'll see one of the options about 2/3, 3/4 of the way down is save as picture. So if we click on that, got lots of pictures in there, but I'm going to go into my technology folder where I've saved my budget. And I'm going to call this event expenses. Click save. And I've now got that saved as a picture. So I can take that, I can use it in my website, I can use it, anywhere where I want to show that, well, from my spreadsheet and my data I've collected, these are the expenses for the event.